So guys, Donald Trump has warned of fresh airstrikes against terror groups in Nigeria. See how Arise TV captured it. It says Trump warns the US could launch additional military strikes in Nigeria if attacks on Christian communities continue. So guys, that attack has continued. I mean, Christians are being fired on a daily basis. I mean, even in the north, there have been a whole lot of attacks going on, and they are mostly in Christian dominated areas. Now Nigerians are saying, Trump, you don't even need to announce this, just come, stop delaying. You need to read the comment section to see how Nigerians are telling Donald Trump, why delay, why even the announcement that they want you to come. You cannot just strike once and you are dilly-dallying that they want Trump to strike again until all the terror groups in Nigeria are decimated. Now see how even the very dark man reacted to it. Say, breaking news, Trump warned of potential additional US military strikes in Nigeria over attacks on Christians. President Donald Trump has warned that the United States may carry out additional military strikes in Nigeria if attacks on Christians continue. The first one was just a warning, and if they come again, it won't be funny. This year go long, sha. Trump seems to be on every case. Trump is everywhere, be it on Iran, be it on Venezuela, be it on Colombia, be it on Nigeria. Trump is trying to eradicate drug trafficking, people he feels they are into drug terrorism, and all kinds of things, you know, persecution of Christians. These are the things Trump does not want to use his ear to hear. Now, talking about insecurity, see what Sowore posted today. Just a drone like this is far more functional more functional and effective than a million Bello Metawalle as Minister of Defense in Nigeria. I don't know, Nigerians have talked and they are tired because we told Tinubu to sack Bello Metawalle and even Nuhu Ribadu, you know, because of all the speculations about having links to all these groups. So Nigerians were like saying, sack them. But you know now, Tinubu always puts his political ambition ahead of people's lives. And that's why it meant nothing to him when the people speak. They don't listen. Now, talking about insecurity, see this headline. It says, Enugu doctor dies after being kidnapped, shot twice in chilling attack. They kidnapped him, they shot him 2 times, and he died. So, guys, this is the problem we are talking about when it comes to insecurity. Look at Nigeria that has, you know, fewer number of medical doctors. Now, see how your doctors are buying. Recently, we talked about the nurse that left work, that closed from work and couldn't get home alive. These are the challenges of being a Nigerian or living in Nigeria. Insecurity everywhere. Now, talking about Nigeria and the leadership on ground, Tinubu's attention has been drawn to the performance of the Ghanaian president. So guys, Ghana is doing well. Stocks in Ghana, if you're a Ghanaian, you can just become a millionaire, billionaire under 1 year, because we heard that the stock market there that's buying of shares in Ghana, they are getting like 77%. You know what that means on average? Meaning some people have exceeded 100% to even 200%, but the average 77%. And sure, let me read this headline that somebody tweeted in response to Arise TV video. This person said, the president of Ghana has leveraged on gold price to reduce inflation, debt, and turn the cedi to one of the strongest currencies in the world. He has reduced the size of his government as well. John Mahama did all of this in just 1 year, but his counterparts in Nigeria did the opposite. That is, Tinubu did the opposite. Now, this person wrote further. He ballooned public debt, that's Tinubu, to 153 trillion naira and is still making excuses after almost 3 years. He employed 49 ministers and kept the largest number of SSAs and presidential spokesman. You know what Tinubu did now? All those people that were in opposition, like Bola Daniel, Tinubu had to hire them by fire by force. Whether there is space or not, Tinubu just hired them for political gain. And this person went ahead to say, Nigeria has gold in Zamfara state. You have huge lithium deposit in Nasarawa state. As a member of OPEC, you are among the top 10 oil producers in the world. Nigeria is not a poor nation, but Rutus is always so eager to please the unofficial spokesman of Yemi Cardoso and the CBN. Ajiru, okay, the person is just referring to Arise TV crew on how they've reacted to this video. So guys, I'm going to allow you to take a look at this video. It has drawn so much criticism. Now look at the Ghanaian president. See what the Ghanaian president said here that has also caught people's attention. He said, we spent the Christmas holiday at the Crown Forest Resort in Gomoa, Tekiam, in the central region. Great ecotourism tourism destination. So guys, resetting Ghana. He had his holiday, his Christmas holiday in Ghana. Tinubu is always jetting out to France. So guys, it will shock you to know how much Tinubu spends on his traveling. Now see this headline. It says Tinubu's presidency to spend 3.3 billion naira on vehicle purchase and replacement in 2026, 150 million naira on tires. So guys, it appears Tinubu changes vehicles and tires every year. Hey, now see this ugly headline again. It says junketing President Tinubu to spend 6.1 billion naira on foreign trips in 2026. Only this year. Only this year, Tinubu is to spend this amount of money, but Donald Trump spent his Christmas in the US. Only Tinubu traveled for vacation, Christmas, New Year vacation. Tinubu is still not yet back to the country. And then this person said, Trump, okay, this person just repeated about Trump's airstrike coming. Now, so guys, this person here now said, poor Nigerians are waiting for election. Why can't you ask for a referendum every year? New promises, you're still suffering, even dying for nothing by some. You know, he's trying to say, why can't Nigerians ask for a referendum? I think this person is talking about secession. Now, talking about Tinubu's government and comparing it with Ghana, let me now read out this text that is going to shock you. This person, dear Nigerians, pay attention. Leave everything because the president of Ghana is barely 12 months in office. But, number one, he takes vacation in Ghana. Number two, Ghana's stock market makes up to 77%. Number three, he reduced inflation to single digit. Number four, he reduced the size of his government, which Tinubu cannot do because of 2027. Tinubu is ready to bring in more people, hey, that will work for him. It's just about wasting the little money we have. You know, we use majority of our revenue to service debt. Whatever is left of it, that is what they are using for political gains. And number five, he turned Ghana cedi to one of the best performing currencies in the world. Ghana is an economic miracle. John Mahama achieved all this in just a year. Tinubu met the same condition in Nigeria in almost 3 years. But the man is still making excuses. So guys, Tinubu is still making excuses. This person went ahead to write more, which I'm not going to be reading, but that tells you that there's still a lot to be done. In case you don't know, Ethiopia, Ghana, and Zambia are the best performing economies in Africa. Ethiopia, Ghana, Zambia are the best performing economies in Nigeria. Honestly, in Africa, while Nigeria is lagging behind. So guys, this tells you a whole lot about leadership in Nigeria. Some people will come out to tell you that Tinubu is the master strategist. What Tinubu is doing, Peter Obi does not have the liver to do it. What Tinubu is doing, people are just trying to, fool your emotion. They just want to cheat on you emotionally, make you believe that Tinubu is working. They'll tell you Peter Obi does not have the liver to do what? What is Tinubu doing? Look at terrorists all over the places. He's scared of the Fulanis. He's scared of them to go after them. Trump must come to the US to strike terrorists on our soil. If not, they will just be left to be operating. In just this new year, there have been attacks everywhere, back and forth. Even in Yoruba land, in Oyo State, they went there, they fight the guards that were there. From the bush, they emerged, fired them and ran away. So guys, let me just allow you to take a look at this video and let me know your honest reaction in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notification for more updates. Thank you.
I'm going to ask a question rather than give my thoughts very quickly, so then I'll hand over. But what is it that you think Ghana are doing well in order for us to see the inflation numbers come down? And is it food inflation? Was that the blue line was headline inflation coming down?
Yes, and then
the orange was...
Yeah, so gold prices have really helped Ghana a lot. Gold gave them a positive balance of payments. Gold added to their foreign exchange reserves. So that, of course, helped their exports, and it also strengthened the cedi. So the stronger your currency is and the more stable your currency is, that is going to contribute to prices. I mean, look, inflation still measures rising prices. It's just this is the pace at which they are rising. Much like Nigeria. I mean, we had a stable currency now for well over a year, and you've seen inflation decelerate to 14%. So it's a gold story, to some extent cocoa as well, but more gold than anything else.
Thank you very much.
I mean, let's stay on Ghana, which I think is a formidable story and a great reset for Mahama's second-term reset agenda, as he calls it. And for me, I think what stands out is their ability to have reduced their debt from let me just check, from 66% to 45%, 1 year in office. And I just love when we walk the talk, which is that he came in, he said, we're going to cut government spending, we're going to be prudent, there shall be tight fiscal policy, excuse me. And he did just that, and we're seeing the effect of it. Of course, we're also seeing the fact that there was a huge, you're looking at me like,
no, I'm with you.
okay.
I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you.
I thought you were questioning what I was saying, yes. Then, of course, food inflation, because we know, just similar to Nigeria, the food basket itself weighs heavily when it comes to being inflation drivers. And we know that whether it be plantain or tomatoes and so forth, Ghana has been able to drive down the food prices in a way that is palpable and can be felt within the markets, within the household pocket. So I think this is a great success story. But the big difference for me is that we see several governments talk the talk about being prudent and, exercising fiscal restraint. But in this case, Mahama has done it. And I hope that his second term will go down well in history and that he will be celebrated for that. Then on the consumer, next person, DJI, new drones banned from the US. So it will be interesting to see how the new drones perform, given that the United States makes up 70 to 80% of DJI's drone market.
Okay, very quickly. The big question to ask about Ghana is, what lessons can Nigeria learn from Ghana? It's not about the minutiae. It's about the more fundamental issues. How are they managing their economy, that they've been able to reduce inflation, food inflation, and headline inflation to 4%.
A few weeks ago, 39 self-confessed terrorists were apprehended in Ondo State by operatives of the Western Nigeria Security Network, otherwise known as Amotekun. During interrogation, the arrested persons said they were running away from Sokoto State in the northwest of the country after the United States launched several guided missile attacks against Islamic State West African province in that part of Nigeria. The arrest again highlights concerns across the southwest of increasing violence against local communities in the region by terrorists reportedly masquerading as pastoralist herdsmen. Political strategist and scientist, researcher, administrator, journalist and writer Akin Osuntokun joins us now to discuss this development. Good afternoon, sir. Many thanks for being here.
Good afternoon.
So many hats that you wear.
Compliments of the season.
Oh, yes, the compliments of the season. I guess we're still in the season to an extent. Of course, you wear many hats, but I like to, key into your analyst hat at this time. When you look at the security situation, the response that we've seen, the posture of this administration, what do you make of things? Are you comfortable with how things are, with their response, or getting ahead of things, or the lack thereof? This administration?
Well, you mentioned the most critical point, and that is getting ahead of the situation. It seems like we're having a runaway and escalating security crisis. And the ones that were apprehended in Kwara, they were told that they came from Sokoto State. They were dislodged, by the Trump attack. And that is a good intervention from Trump, but it is also going to provoke a fight back or regrouping, anger among the terrorists. I don't know if that was factored into the situation. That act by itself, as I said, I supported it wholeheartedly, but on the condition that we will have a sustained, a sustained containment, a containment of the fallouts from there. Ordinarily, apart from what the situation in Sokoto, the northwest, is usually in the run down to the elections, to general election. All manner of syndicates get set up, thugs that are recruited to fight one another. That has been a feature of electoral cycle in Nigeria. So that is going to be part of it, that these are the areas that one will anticipate, may result in security breakdown. So when you add all this up, my only hope, as I said, is, well, Trump intervened in the first instance because it seems as if Nigeria lacks the capacity, to contain, get handled on the security crisis. So as things stand now, we are still going to need the capacity that the US, that Trump manifested. It doesn't have to be Trump. It could be any other power that has the wherewithal, the capacity to face down, to confront a situation like that. That is what is going to require. And that is where my own fear is, that you just told me that he said he may or may not take another proactive initiative in Nigeria again. He's not ruling it out. Well, that's Trump. Well, in the case of Nigeria, my own opinion, considered opinion, is that what he did was correct. I supported it. That look, if you are helpless, you have somebody to help you out of a bad situation, that in itself is a good thing. But Trump, as an American president, coupled with what he had been doing, thereafter, going to kidnap, abduct, the president of another country. Threatening to take over Greenland, and so it's becoming very controversial. So with the situation as it goes down, it's a bit confusing. The saving grace, or one of the saving grace, was the initiative taken by the governments of the Southwest some years ago to set up Amotepu. It has been very effective. Not minding, regardless that, they are not adequately equipped with the little that they had. They are very effective. And the conclusion you get from that is that is a need for state police, for the decentralization of the security network and power at the center. So this is this has manifested itself. I should assume that other zones in the country are taking the lead from what happened, the initiative of the Southwest. The states, the Muslim majority states in the north, they did set up an organization called ISBA, which was supposed to be an instrument of Sharia. Now they can also ask, equip them, or also, give them that additional to serve, as apart from, going after people drinking beer or whatnot. Right? They can make themselves useful now in the situation that we find ourselves. But as I said, ordinarily, in the run-up to general elections, the tendency has been an escalation of violence, thuggery, and things like that.
Right. And, when we talk about insecurity, maybe terrorism in the country, a lot of the times we'll kind of see it as something that happens more so in the north, whereas we'll call it banditry when it happens in states more in the south. The fact that the Oyo State governor on Tuesday said that the attack that happened that killed 5 forest guards at the Oyo State National Park was a cross-border attack. How concerned should people here be? Is there a sense that, this terrorism is coming down, or was there already violence here that we're just really seeing again? How concerned should people here be?
No, there was some years ago attributed to Fulani herdsmen militia. People put all sorts of spin on it. So it's not new. It was there before, and of course that was what led to the initiative of Amoteku, right? It was precisely that breakdown of security in the southwest that was set up. So it was there before, as you say, that it was somewhat contained. But the fact that anything that happens in one part of the country is it always has the potential, to spill over, into the other parts of the country. And as I said, if they are feeling uncomfortable, if they are being contained, through measures like that of the Trump initiative, they are going to try to seek other bases in the country, other areas, where they can, rearrange, regroup, and launch attacks. So this is what we have. The president has taken some initiatives administratively, in encouraging states to have their local network of security. I don't know whether that is backed up by adequate funding, but he did acknowledge that. So there is a fear that it is going to, and it's a genuine fear. We had it before. We had it very bad. It was like it laid a siege to the southwest, which led to the emergence of somebody like Sunday Igboho. He personified the resistance to that crisis when it happened a few years ago. And so we ought to have learned some lessons, right, from what happened at that period, and use it to as part, as a response to what is going on again. Like the potential for crisis, as I said, in Nigeria has always been there, and of course, in a situation of escalating economic hardship, right, misery, a lot of people are going to resort to crimes. This is the unfortunate effect of the recession that the country is going through, and some policies that have the unintended consequence, of deeply, the miserization of people. So, in a way, Nigeria is suffering from a systemic crisis. That there is really no one aspect of the crisis that you can isolate, for immediate action. You have to take it as a whole. Look at something as far as security is concerned. Look at something like power, right? Mm-hmm. Do you know, I'm not sure how many people might have done a linkage between that and what is happening. If you are unable to light your street lights, right? If a large part of your society is in darkness, these are things that where thuggery, violence, robbers can thrive. Yeah. Right. So you see, as I said, not many people would draw that kind of implication, but that is where we are. It's a systemic breakdown. The late Professor Aluko did say that the rich cannot sleep because the poor are hungry. So it was drawing a correlation, of course, between security crisis and the economic hardship.
Just like you've drawn all the connections to all these factors and not looking at them in isolation.
Exactly.
Now, let's have a conversation on insecurity. Nigeria's security situation is at what we can call a dire phase, from terrorism to banditry to secessionist violence, and now a rising global military tension or tensions. The question is no longer whether Nigeria is under threat, but how exposed the state truly is. Now, following the recent Trump-era strike and the ongoing global mopping up operations against non-state actors, power dynamics are shifting. Strong nations are drawing clear red lines. Weak states are becoming theaters. Well, with us this morning is General Rogers Nicholas, former theater commander Operation Lafayette Dole, and former commander Special Task Force Plateau and Southern Kaduna. He is a retired general who understands warfare beyond the battlefield. General Nicholas, welcome to Daybreak.
Thank you. Good morning, Nigerians.
Now, talking about mopping up operations, apparently that seems to be lacking when it comes to, Nigeria's security architecture. That attack on insurgents and terrorists in the northern part of the country, of course, you know that the elements, some elements would have escaped, actually faded into the surrounding communities while the others would keep moving southwards. And it appears as a consequence we are having increased attacks in Niger State, in Oyo State, in Benue State, in Kwara State. So, unfortunately, it appears that there is a major gap in Nigeria's security architecture that actually permits terrorists to continue to act even after they appear to be on the back foot.
Yeah, the situation is very dynamic because there are so many things, so many gaps in our security system. One major gap is the issue of capability. Capability. What can we do? Capacity. What do we produce? That kind of a thing. So when there is that gap, people take advantage, the terrorists take advantage, and they move away fast. But I will say that I think the military is doing their best, and the security are doing their best to make sure they curtail the situation. And around the theaters across the nation, there have been positive results. The military have been engaging these terrorists who are fleeing, and a lot of damage has been done on them, both from the Air Force, the Land Force, and even the maritime agents, including the other security agencies, the DSS and the police. We are doing our best, even though the best cannot be said to be the best for now, but I think we are doing enough. But what I think the general public, the locals, through where these people flee, should be able to also bring up information as quickly as possible to the security agencies to be able to follow up. So these are some of the challenges.
Now, one of the challenges as well that people seem to be facing is this overlap in the type of, attacks. How dangerous is this overlap between this banditry, there's terrorism, there's communal conflict? Everything is now starting to mesh and look like one.
Yes, because we give it a correlative name. We call this one bandits, we call this one IPOP, and we call this one terrorists. They're all terrorists by designation. So we need to come out with a framework and term these people terrorists so that they can be dealt with as terrorists. But having said that, I think the government has to also declare war on all these things we are doing. We've been saying these things and then doing, but the government of Nigeria has not come out to declare war on terrorism, so to say. All we are doing is because when you declare war, all the elements of national power comes to play. But for now, we are just, leaving it to security agencies to handle. Other stakeholders have not come to play. The civil component is not playing out well. The community resilience is not playing out well. So you leave everything to the security agencies, the military, the DSS, the police and others. That's not enough. It has to be a holistic national approach towards solving the national problem as regards insecurity.
Okay, now when, just following up with the deadly and precision strike by the U.S. government, one would have expected a swift and prompt mop-up exercise by the Nigerian government. But many people feel that the response has been very sloppy indeed. And when you look at the fact that there was intelligence gathering, that there's some infiltration of terrorist elements immediately after the attack in areas of like Benue State in the Middle Belt axis, and nothing much was done. And that takes us back to that question that intelligence also was provided just hours before the abduction took place in Niger State, as in the case of Tapiri, and there was no action to that effect. So, how would you respond to this very visibly compromised security and poorly driven intelligence architecture?
Well, first, I think we need to understand the fact that one thing is for you to get intelligence, the timely intelligence. Secondly, is for you to have the capability to deal with the situation. Now, one of the major problems we have in the system is the issue of capability. Now, you are giving intelligence that people are mustering in a particular place. What can you do? What technology do you have to deal with the situation? How many aircraft can you deploy? How many artillery can you deploy? Accurately, serviceable ones. So these are the challenges. So if you have, for instance, I give an instance in Plateau State, where I did some jobs some few weeks back. You find out that when something happens in a place, say 2 kilometers from where the soldiers are deployed, the 2 kilometers journey can take you like 5 hours because of the rugged terrain of those places. So these are some of the challenges that the military is having. So when issues happen, people say, they happen and they are just about 1 kilometer from soldiers. How can you get to the position? The capability of getting to that place is a challenge. Do you have assault helicopters? Does the army have? Only the Air Force have that capability for now. The army does not have that. So it's a challenge. So these are some of the problems we're having. So also the technology to be applied to be able to reach those places on time, even if you don't have these copters, if you have certain things like drones, capable drones, you can also use them. But how many do you have? The quantity and quality do you have? So these are some of the challenges.
Now, General, you did talk about, the civil component of national security not doing enough. Yes, indeed, I tend to agree with you on that because, when earlier this year, towards the end of last year, I was at the Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Jaji, and there was this issue of the whole of society approach to national security. And here also you've talked about a holistic approach to national security, but it requires a lot. Training, orientation, public enlightenment, training in intelligence gathering among the civil populace. Someone is expected to drive this initiative, and I think the ball is right back in the court of the Nigerian Armed Forces, and they are not doing this. So if the civil component of national security is not doing well, I think the Nigerian Armed Forces also has to take the blame, shouldn't they?
No, they should not. Because there are outfits like the National Orientation Agency. That is their responsibility.
But they don't have the capacity, they don't have the technical know-how.
So you don't put the blame to the military. Do we have the capability?
Yes, I mean, this is national security. So when it comes to issues of security, then, General, I think that is the responsibility of the armed forces either way, even when it comes to training and orientation.
No, it's a national issue. It shouldn't be thrown to the military. It's a national issue that everybody should be involved in this. The military, the civil company should be involved. But there are agencies, specifically marked to be able to enlighten the society. National Orientation Agency is one of those organizations. Federal Ministry of Information is one. And at state level, we have all these ministries and other agencies that should be able to train and organize all these things. But when they are not pulling their weight, you don't put everything on the military. The military has limitations.
The military has the security know-how.
Yes.
They can only use these organizations as vehicles, but the know-how actually comes from the military. Are they sharing it?
Yes, we are sharing it. We are also training some civilian components. That is why when you went to that JAG operation, I'm sure you were training some civilians being trained. You go to Command and Staff College, you go to National Defense College, you go to the civil military war colleges. You see civilian components being brought in to be trained on how to handle this thing. But specifically, there are agencies that is their responsibility, they are budgeted for, that should take over those responsibilities of training, enlightening the civilians. NOAA, like I said, is one of those agencies. Federal Ministry of Information is one of those agencies.
All right, General, something that we see that continually happens is that when an area or a community is hit by these so-called terrorists, why is it that after these areas are cleared, they often relapse into insecurity again?
Yeah, the issue is that there are not enough boots on the ground. That is one. Two, the technology is inadequate. That's two. So these are two major components. But let me thank the president for having approved.
So guys, you have seen what is happening in the country today. The terrorists are running their own parallel government. They want to be the owners of Nigeria. They want everybody to convert. A whole lot has been happening. Now, people like Mo Alo has lent his voice condemning what is happening. It's even worse than it. Tinubu is saying that he's going to spend 141 million naira. Okay, they say 141 million Nigerians face poverty, abject poverty. Tinubu government budget 200 million naira for influencers, bloggers with taxpayers' money. For what now are they influencing? For what? That is for election, using Nigerian people's money. So guys, Tinubu is using taxpayers' money to pay influencers. For what? I mean, for what now? For what? For what, Nigerians? Okay, let's see how some reactions have come. This person, no wonder the fools associated with these unfortunate people has carried shamefully propaganda on their head. He's even unfortunate to carry obese agenda on his head because he go heavy and die. None of this propaganda is flying. None of this propaganda. 200 million to be shared among definitely hundreds of e-rats, while Tinubu and co shares hundreds of billions among themselves. They throw some crumbs to the slaves and online urchin, OKZ and jollof rice chilling. Wifey blazing, shameless bastard. Food is almost ready. So guys, Tinubu is going to be spending 200 million naira for social media adverts ahead of 2027 election. If not, tell me what has the federal government be paying money for? If not to look for people who are going to defend Tinubu online. For Nigeria to breathe, for Nigerians to breathe, Tinubu must go. This other person here say they are preparing for 2027. You will soon start seeing many unknown accounts with 1, 2, 3 followers pursuing dangerous narrative. When you notice them, block them as soon as possible and serve them of that engagement they are being paid for. If you engage your post with nonsense responses, block them. If they engage your post with nonsense, just block them. I think this makes a lot of sense. And this other person here say, well, the Federal Ministry of Information now have more funds to splash on irrelevant and sycophants, that will raise a bar for propaganda to another level. They'll be most likely misinformed. They will be most likely misinformed and mass production of information on various portals to counter opposition views. I think that is just the agenda. Tinubu knows that Peter Obi's members, supporters are strong on the social media, and now Tinubu is paying influencers, even budgeting taxpayers' money. This is the reason why Nigerians don't want to pay taxes. What is it going to be used for? This one say PwC projects 141 million Nigerians could live in poverty this year. They are already in abject poverty. That is it, nairametric. The 200 million naira is not just for bloggers. The government is promoting hatred and division, especially against Obi and Igbos. It began with useless Buhari, and Tinubu vowed to continue where he stopped. You see it. And this other person here say, pay your tax. But pay your tax so he can recklessly do something like this. Despicable pieces of shit. And this other person here said, instead of creating real jobs and meaningful opportunities for millions of desperate and unemployed youths, this government shamelessly turns themselves into data boys. This government shamelessly turned them into data boys and sycophants, throwing them crumbs just to defend failed and deceit. Hunger is everywhere, yet propaganda has become policy rather than confronting the pain, suffering, and unemployment and insecurity crushing ordinary Nigerians. The president is busy selling lies and manufactured achievement. This is the peak of irresponsibility and evil government. Where is the image? Where the image is valued where the image is valued above human life, dignity, and survival. So guys, this is what Nigerians are saying. No wonder they always come out to support anything the government does. God will punish. God doesn't punish people. This person here says, Nigerians, please encourage cancel culture. Any celebrity or clergy found wanting should be cancelled. I mean, called out, dragged like tiger, Jen, and blocked. They are enemies of Nigeria and you. I mean, so guys, this other person here say, he don't activate in data boys till 2027. Data boys, over to you now. The most useless government in Nigeria is this current APC. Very wasteful and useless. Hey, and clueless. And this person, they said Tinubu is the best thing and he's doing best by punishing them more into poverty. By pushing them into poverty, they will remain being poor forever. So guys, this is it. We are so cheap. So for 230 million people to become influencers and market Nigeria, you plan to give them 80 kobo each. Every poverty go wire a one mandate standard. Ordinary 200 million. Now them him they give the whole data boys. This person is saying that 200 million is 200 million, yet same politicians are stealing hundreds of billions. It's very unfortunate. Please don't sell your country for mega peanuts. So guys, let me know what you think about these reactions coming from Nigerians as regards to what Tinubu is doing ahead of 2027, trying to buy the conscience and consciences of Nigerians, you know, setting up, you know, online promoters, bloggers. They say they are going to pay them 200 million naira for what? Now Nigerians are asking for what? For what? When did Tinubu start using social media that he wants? What is he promoting? What has he done? What has he achieved that he wants to promote? So guys, it's really so sad. Let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notification for more updates. Thank you.